Hello students, welcome back to microprocessor and microcontroller online class. In today's class, I am going to talk about the internal architecture of 8051 and I am going to discuss about the register organization of 8051 and some of the addressing modes of 8051 I am going to discuss in this particular video. So this is the diagram, which is nothing but internal architecture of 8051. As we know that microcontroller is nothing but it is a microcomputer. Microcontroller is nothing but it is a microcontroller. The computer can consist of CPU, some input-output devices, and memory, and all these will be connected together to perform the function of a computer. So that here 8051 is nothing but a microcontroller, which is also called as microcomputer, and we will be getting the complete computer on a chip, so that this is also called as computer on a chip. So that here this is the internal architecture of 8051. It consists of the CPU and the memory, that memory which includes the random access memory. This is a random access memory and the read-only memory. As we know that random access memory is for the data, whereas RAM, that is read-only memory, is to store the code. And again, along with this things, we will be having some input output ports, we will be having some input output ports, that is serial input output ports, and we can have some special function registers or special purpose registers we will be having, and it is having some control unit or the control logic also. And this is complete block diagram or the complete internal architecture of 8051. Then this is 8051 microcontroller. We know that it has the 8-bit of data bus. That means it can communicate, all these elements can communicate through an 8-bit internal data bus. That means it is having the 8-bit of data bus, means all these elements will communicate through the 8-bit of internal data bus. And again, we know that from the 40 pins, around 32 pins serves as the input output pins, that is port 0, port 1, port 2 and port 3, and each port is having the 8 IO ports, that is 0 to 7 and 0 to 7, 0 to 7, 0 to 7. Total 8 into 4, that is 32 IO ports are ready to communicate with the outside world of the 8051. Here the internal data bus is buffered to the outside world through an IO port when memory or IO expansion is designed. This is the complete architecture of 8051, and this 8051 will be having the architecture, and we know that it consists of CPU, two kinds of memory, RAM and ROM, input output ports, and the mode, status and the data registers, and a random logic needed for a variety of peripheral functions. So in the previous classes we have discussed about the pin diagram of 8051. In this class I am going to talk about the register organization of 8051. Here this is nothing but CPU, this is ALU, and followed by some registers are there. The register A and register B, and these are the temp registers we will be having. So that this is nothing but ALU is with some registers, so that we can call it is a CPU. CPU is nothing but what? It is a central processing unit. It is nothing but it is the brain of the computer, also called as processor, and the CPU consists of ALU to perform the arithmetic and logical functions, and it will have some register and it will have some control unit. So here the CPU of 8051 consists of 8-bit arithmetic logical unit, that is here ALU bit size is about the 8-bit because internal bus data bus is about 8-bit only, so that it is having the 8-bit ALU and associated with the register A, register B and the program status word, that is program status word we will be having. This is a program status word, and next one we can have the start pointer, and we can have the start pointer, we can have the program counter and we can have the data pointer registers, and all these are the registers, which are associated with the CPU. Here the CPU this ALU will be associated with all these registers, so that we will be having the various types of registers. Here it is having the register A. It holds the source operand and receives the results of the arithmetic instruction. Here we will be having the register A. It holds the source operand. Operand is nothing but the instruction which is going to be performed, and the data is called, it is an operand. That means source operand, the instruction which is going to perform on a source data, that is called source operand. So that register A is going to hold the source address, and it receives the results of the arithmetic instructions. So that here this is a register A function, and register B is nothing but it is a general purpose register used for hardware multiply and divide operation. This can be used for the hardware or multiplication or division operation. These two registers are the associated with the arithmetic logic units, and these are the registers which are there in the processor, that is CPU. And next one is a data pointer register. Data pointer register consists of a higher byte and the lower byte. Higher byte is nothing but here higher byte is nothing but 8 bits, and so that it will be having the higher byte data pointer register and the lower byte data pointer register, because it will be 16-bit wide. It is a 16-bit wide because it can be interfaced with the memory. It can be interfaced with the memory of a 16-bit address, because 8051 is having the address bus is about 16-bit, so that data pointer register size is about the 16-bit, and which will be divided into two registers, that is higher byte and the lower byte, and to access the memory, and this is with the 16-bit of data pointer. So that next one is about the program counter, and it is denoted with PC. It is a 16-bit register. It is used to hold the address of memory. It is used to hold the address of the memory location from which the next instruction is to be fetched. That means what? While the 8051 has been executing one instructions, and this PC, that is a program counter, is going to hold the address of the next instruction which is to be fetched, that will be stored in the program counter. The next one is a program status word. Here this is a program status word. This will be program status word. This will be, and it is a 8-bit register, and it is also named as a flag register. It consists of 8 flags, so that this is a program status word register. It is a 8-bit wide, and each and every bit will define the status of one particular thing, and so that we are going to discuss that program status word in the next session. Next one we will be having all these registers, that is special function registers. We have this is special function registers, or we can call it as a special purpose register. these are the special function registers. These holds the 128 byte of on-chip RAM locations, and we know that these are having the internal on-chip memory of the data is about 128 bytes, whereas on-chip memory of 8051, when that is around, that is about 4 kilobyte. So that here special function for this is a special function registers, and these registers holds the 128 bytes of on-chip RAM locations. From that will be 80H to address will be 80H to FFH. The special function registers includes the port latches, these port latches, and status and control bits, timer, control register, CPU register, stack pointer, and accumulator, etc. Some special function registers are bit addressable, and some are byte addressable, and some are both bit and byte addressables. Here we will be having around the 128 byte of the memory is for the special function register, in which some special function registers are bit addressable and some are byte addressable. Some may be both the bit and byte addressable, and we are going to talk about all these registers separately in the register organization of 8051. So that this is the block diagram of 8051, and it is having the CPU, that is a central processing unit, which consists of ALU and some registers, and all these are associated with some more registers, and it is having the random access memory and read-only memory, and latches and the buffers are used to drive the all the register information through the ports to the ports through the latches and buffers. And it is having the 4 ports, port 0, port 1, port 2, and port 3. Each is with the 8 lines, so that 4 into 8, that out of 40 pins, that 32 pins serves as a input and output. And all these things will be explained in detail in the next slide, and I am going to talk about in detail about all these registers. So that here we know the architecture of 8051. This is already we discussed. It is a 8-bit CPU. CPU includes ALU, and which is having the 2 registers A and B, and internal RAM size. RAM size is about, RAM is nothing but read-only memory, that is about 4 kilobyte, and it is a 16-bit program counter. We have just now we have discussed. It is having the 16-bit program counter and the 16-bit data pointer. Just now we discussed, and it is having the internal RAM is about 128 bytes. That means special function registers can be used. A special 128 bytes of memory can be used for the special function registers, that are special purpose registers, that are from 80H to the FFH, and it is having the 8-bit of program status word. Just now I have explained. It is having the 8-bit of status word, and it is having the 2 16-bit counters are timers, timer 0 and timer 1, both are the 16-bit wide, and it is having the 4 8-bit ports. We know that 4 into 8, it will be the 32, and 3 internal interrupts and 2 external interrupts are there. We know that interrupt 0 and interrupt 1 both are the external interrupts, and we are having some control registers and oscillators and clock circuit that are having. These are the very important features of 8051, and next we are going to talk about the internal register organization of 8051. So that just now we discussed that this 8051 is having the 2 registers, that is A and B CPU register. CPU is nothing but it is a processor. The 8051 contains 34 general purpose or working registers. Of these 2 registers are A and B. From that 34 registers, A and B registers we are talking, and A is nothing but it is an accumulator register, and this register is going to hold the result of the arithmetic operation. The immediate result is stored in the accumulator register for the next operation. We know that base register, it is a register of just for the multiplication and division operation, which requires the more register space for the product and product of multiplication and the quotient and the remainder for the division. So that just now I have explained, an accumulator register can be used for the storing the immediate result, and whereas register B is for the multiplication and division operation. Just now we discussed about this one. And the program status word, it is a 8-bit word, 8-bit register, it is a 8-bit register, and the program status word is a 8-bit register, and we can call this program status word register is also flag register, so that the program status word contains some flags and each and every bit is named as a flag, so that each and every flag is going to give is going to indicate some information. So that user program flag F0 and the register select the bits that identify which of the 4 general purpose register bank is currently has been using. Then we will be going with the status of the program status word. Here it is a 8-bit only. The program status word register contains several status bits that reflects the current state of CPU. Here this is a carry flag. CY is nothing but it is a carry flag, and it is a carry flag which is going to describe the carry information of that 8051. And coming to the next one, we are going to talk about the auxiliary carry, and that auxiliary carry will be here. We will be discussing the auxiliary carry, and AC is denoted with auxiliary carry, and F0 will be available, that is a flag 0 available to the user for the general purpose. The next one is a register bank selector bit 1, and this one a register bank selector bit 0, and here this is a overflow flag, and anyway this bit 1 bit, this is B0 and this is B1, and this is a user definable flag, and the last bit is about this is plea, that is a parity bit, and it is a parity bit which is going to be set or cleared by the hardware each instruction cycle to indicate an odd or even number of one bits in the accumulator. Here we will be having the various things for the various information is there for the program status word, and the first one is what? First one is a carry flag, and this carry flag, it is set. If it is set, carry flag, if it is set, there is an overflow out of B7. That means what? Here this is a B7. If it is set to 1, that means what? It is an overflow out of B7. Beyond the B7, we will be getting the data. This carry flag also serves a borrow flag for the subtraction, so that if this also serves as a borrow flag for a subtraction. If you go with the any subtraction, for example, I am going with the addition. Assume that I am going with the addition. I am going with the 2-bit hexadecimal number addition. 98 plus 75. I am going 98 plus 75. I am going, so that if I get the sum is about the 3-bit hexadecimal number, so the third bit, the MSB bit is a overflow, so that whenever it is a overflow, this carry flag indicates 1, otherwise it indicates 0. So that in the borrow case also, in the subtraction case also, not only in addition, in the subtraction case also we can have this one 80. For example, if I go with the 89 minus AB, 89 is the smaller one compared to the AB, so that in such cases we require the borrow, so that carry flag indicates 1 here. Next one is the auxiliary carry. This is the auxiliary carry flag. it is if it is set if there is an overflow out of B3. Here this is B0, B1, B2 and B3. This is if it is having the overflow from the B3, and this auxiliary carry is set to 1, otherwise it's set to 0. That means what? 4 bits. Here this is 4 bit and this is also 4 bits, so that 4 bits are named as a nibble, so that if there is an overflow out of B3, that is carry from the lower nibble to higher nibble. This is lower nibble and this is higher nibble. If this is a carry from B3, and it will be the carry to the lower byte, lower nibble to the higher nibble, and otherwise if there is no carry from the B3, and this will be the reset, that will be the 0. Next one is FO. FO is nothing but it is flag 0, flag 0, and it is a general purpose register, user flag. It is available to user as a general purpose flag. It can be set or reset as desired by the user, so that designer or programmer can program this, can be set or reset. It is a general purpose register. Flag 0 available to the user for the general purpose. Just now we discussed about this one, and we are having RS0 and RS1, RS0 and RS1, and both are the register bank select flags here. Both are the register bank select flag, and it is bit 1 and it is bit 0, and based on the combination of these two flags we can have the various addresses and various register banks we can have, and that will be discussed in the below. And the next one is about here we will be discussing RS1, RS0. Both are the two register bank select registers are flags, so that 00, 01, 10 and 11. Whenever this is 00, the register bank is selected, that is 0, 01, register bank is 1 and it is 2 and it is 3. Address will be from it is 00 to 07H, 08 to 0FH, 10 to 17H, 18 to, and it is 1FH. That means what? Here these are the register bank select flags used for the selecting the one of the 4 register banks, and these are the 4 register banks, and with their address, these are the address of that register flag. And next one is a overflow flag. This is the overflow flag. This is the overflow flag, and OV is set. That means what? This flag will be set if there is a carry out of the bit 7 but not bit 6. That means what? There is a carry from the B7 but not from the B6. That means what? This is not giving any carry, but due to the 2 MSBs, and we will be getting the carry from the B7. In such cases, that will show that overflow flag is set to 1, otherwise it will reset to 0. That means what? If this is the overflow flag, and overflow flag is set if there is a carry out of the B7, and not from the carry out of B6, or there is a carry out of B6 but not B7. In another case also, if B6 is giving the carry to the B7 but B7 is not at all providing the carry, so that in such cases also overflow flag will be set to 1, otherwise it will be cleared. This is about the program status word, or the flags of this program status word register. It is a 8-bit program status word, and we are having the 2 more flags. One is empty flag, another one is a parity flag, and this one we can write as it is F1. It is a user definable flag, and it is a general purpose user definable flag. It can be set or reset as the designed by the user. And the last one is about the parity flag. The parity flag is defined by the number of ones present in the accumulator. Number of ones present in the accumulator. If parity flag is 0, if the number of ones are even, and this parity flag is 1 if the number of ones are odd. That means what in the block diagram we have studied, it is having the accumulator registers, it is having a register with the associated with the central processing associated with the arithmetic logic unit, in which the parity flag, in which the number of ones are even, this parity flag indicates the 0. If the number of ones are odd, that indicates the 1. So that this is about the program status word, that is nothing but PSW, and here the program status word is a 8-bit register. It is also called as flag register of 8051, and all these are the descriptions of each and every bit or each and every flag. And the next one we know that this is having the crystal oscillator, and the frequency of this 8051 is about 12 megahertz, so that we have discussed all these points earlier only, and this is the timing diagram, it not written. Next one is a program counter. We will be having the program counter register, and that program counter register is nothing but the program counter points the address of the next instruction is to be executed. In the last class, in the previously we have explained the program counter, that is a PC, and that is going to hold the address of the next instruction which is to be executed while the current execution has been done. So that the PC is nothing but it is a program counter, and it is a 16-bit register. It is used to hold the address of the memory location from which the next instruction to be fetched. So that here, as the CPU fetches the opcode from the program RAM, that is a read-only memory, the program counter is increasing to point to the next instruction, and it is a 16-bit wide, and 16-bit wide can be represented in the hexadecimal number. This is 000H2 and all FH, and the total of it can have, it is a program memory, the total memory of the RAM is about, it is 64 kilobyte. It can be divided into on-chip memory and off-chip memory. If the on-chip memory is 4 kilobyte, and off-chip memory will be the off-chip memory will be the 60 more kilobyte. Likewise, that we can divide the total 64 kilobyte based on our requirement. Next one is about the data pointer. Data pointer is also a 16-bit register, whereas the program counter is also 16-bit register, and data pointer is also 16-bit register. Later on, it will be divided into two things, that is data pointer lower byte and data pointer higher byte. So that here it is having the 8-bit, and here also it is having the 8-bit, and this data pointer is used to hold the address of the data in the memory. That means what? This the 8051 is having the address bus is about the 16-bit, so that it can interface with the memory of 2 power of 16. And if I wanted to read the data from the memory of 2 power of 16 bytes of memory, and we require to know the address of that particular memory location, and here the data pointer is going to hold the address of that particular memory location. From that we can take the data, or to that we can write the data, and the data pointer register can be divided into two things. We know that is a higher byte and the lower byte. It is a 16 bit wide register. And coming to the next registers these are the start pointer registers, start pointer and the start pointers. And earlier we have discussed the start pointer also. The start pointer refers to the area of RAM. It is nothing but it is a area of RAM. It is an area of RAM that is used to store and retrieves the data quickly. That means what? Internally we will be having the start pointer register, which is going to hold the data and which can be used immediately and which can be retrieved quickly, and that is nothing but it is a stack is used to have an area of RAM, that is a random access memory for the data. So that the start pointer register is used by the 8051 to hold an internal RAM address that is called a top of stack. The stack pointer is increased before the data is stored during the push and call instruction, and decremented after is restored during the pop and return instructions. Here we will be going through some various instructions here. Push and call instructions to increment and whereas pop and return instructions for the decremented. That means decremented after stack pointer will be decremented after the data is restored during the pop and return instruction. So that will be there here. The stack operation is performed. See this one. This is a stack. Stack is nothing but array of, this is a area of RAM. It is a area of RAM. It is a stack, and from this, by making use of the push and pop, pop instructions, we can either increment the data, we can increment the stack, or we can decrement the stack by using the push during the whenever the top of stack, the stack pointer is increased before the data is stored during the push and call instruction. This is a push. That means what? This is for the top one, and this one is a pop instruction, and the decremented after the data is restored. Data will be restored into the register that is during the pop and return instructions. See, this arrowheads indicates what? This push, that means what? We will be pushing the data of RAM into the top of the stack, and from that top of the stack we will be taking the data that is during the instruction, that is a pop instruction. So that push and pop instructions are very important, and this is the internal memory of 8051. We know that internal memory is also called as on-chip memory, and it is having the 128 byte of on-chip memory can be used for the special function registers, and directly addressable range is about 002 FH hexadecimal. Indirectly accessible range is about 002 FF hexadecimal. These two are called, it is a internal RAM or on-chip memory. Bit addressable space is what? 2022F hexadecimal, and four register banks. We know that 4 register banks are there, that is 0, 1, 2, 3, and just now we have discussed that operation, that is 00207H, and next one is 08H2. Next one we have discussed this register, registers things. We have to go back to that particular point. See this one, register bank. Here we will be having 00207H for the first bank register, 0820F H. Like that we will be having 4 register banks from 00 to 1FH. So that here we will be having these registers, that internal memory from 00 to 1FH for the 4 register banks, and internal memory, we know that internal memory, that is for general purpose RAM, and it is having the 128 bytes of internal RAM. It is having that can be used for the special function register. This is about, it is 128 byte internal RAM is shown in this figure. Here we will be having the 3 areas: working register, special purpose register, bit accessible register, and the general purpose register. 3 things are there: working registers, bit accessible register, and general purpose registers. In the next class I am going to talk about the internal RAM structure, that is nothing but the special function registers and all. From the special function registers we can expect the one long answer question in the exam. Thank you student, thank you so much.